What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp. We have UFC Blaydes versus Volkov this weekend. Another show from UFC that is very much a, hey, let's meet the requirements of this ESPN deal type of fight card. Some okay fights on this one, though, namely the main event. But let's go ahead and get into it. Reminder, FightfulMMA.com, and has all your MMA news. It's got great pick'em events. Also, every time there's a UFC show, our comments explode. We get hundreds, if not thousands, of comments from the great talking MMA community. They are a great group of people that have joined us over at Fightful. Go over there and talk about the fights. Learn a little bit of something over there, too. But let's go ahead and talk about this show because it's a show. It certainly is a show. Our betting odds are from BetOnline at betonline.ag. Check them out. They are on Twitter at betonline_AG. Easy for me to say. They provide us with wrestling odds, with MMA odds, all that good stuff. So go over there and show them a little bit of love. If you see us posting wrestling odds on Fightful Select, usually it's them giving us the jump on everybody else. Austin Hubbard, a plus 165 underdog against Max Roshkoff, a minus 190. Austin Hubbard is much more experienced and has faced better competition. But then again, Max is one of those people that you got to look out for, and you got to pay attention to as far as top prospect talent goes. He's 25 years old. He's been submitting people in the first round. He drags them down to the mat, and then he taps them out. He's coached by Robert Drysdale. I'm going with him here, and I think that betting line is all right. Austin Hubbard did not get an easy draw here, and we could be looking at Max as one of those people that we look back at on this fight, and we're watching it years from now to see how much he knew or how good he was at an early stage of things. Jim Miller, a plus 200 against the minus 240 Roosevelt Roberts. Now, these are not in order, by the way, but Jim Miller, one of those guys that he's completely capable of beating Roosevelt Roberts. It's just at 36 years old, he'll be 37 in a couple of months. We got to look at Jim Miller and say, okay, is Roosevelt Roberts going to starch him? Is he going to get stopped? Is something going to happen where the momentum and the will of Roosevelt Roberts is too much to overcome, or too much for Jim Miller, the crafty veteran, to overcome? Now, here's the thing. Anytime Jim Miller fights, I will watch that fight. That's the wise report or the wise booking of UFC throwing this on a show, because it's like, you know what? I'm familiar with him. I've watched him fight since 2008. It feels like even before that, I've been watching him fight. So I'll watch this. I'll be down to check this out. And Roosevelt Roberts is emerging, so good booking by the UFC here. Another guy who's in that category, Clay Guida, a plus 210 against the minus 250 Bobby Green. Guida is another guy that I think is fully capable of beating absolutely anybody. He is another guy that I have watched fight since 2006, 2007 at this point. Bobby Green, I remember fighting on that first Affliction show against Dan Lozon 11 years ago. Bobby Green has had trouble getting in the cage, staying in the cage. I think he's had 13 canceled fights, including this one. He gets hurt all the time. I mean, all the time. He has pulled out of something like 6 or 7 of those fights in the last few years. He gets hurt all the time. And to me, I don't know if he's got the stamina, so to speak, to beat Clay Guida in that regard. Clay Guida, I don't remember him ever pulling out of a fight. Ever. I think that Clay Guida is going to be able to outlast him. I would definitely have Clay Guida at plus 210 as one of my I got 5 on it picks. You have Lyman Good at even, Bilal Muhammad at minus 2 or 120 rather. This is a hell of a fight. This is a good one. Might not be a hell of a fight as it plays out, but I like this fight. I've got Bilal Muhammad edging this one out. Lauren Murphy taking on Roxanne Modafferi. Modafferi is the minus 120. Lauren Murphy is even. I'd probably actually give the advantage to Lauren Murphy here. But since Roxanne Modafferi got beat after that season of Tough, she went and reinvented herself at Syndicate and has done an awesome job. Sorry, I'm a little stuttery today, guys. But she reinvented herself, so it would not surprise me to see her emerge victorious. But if I had to give the nod to somebody, it'd be Lauren Murphy. There's a lot of familiar names on this show. So if you're a longtime viewer of UFC, this is a show to watch. It's not going to make a lot of difference as far as the rankings go for a lot of these people. Josh Emmett, a plus 125 against the minus 145 Shane Burgos. I have Burgos emerging victorious in this one as well. This is a good fight. I like the way that this one is laid out. Burgos is really emerging as a potential contender down the line. So I look for him to topple Emmett. And this is the co-main event of the night. I don't know why BetOnline provided these all out of order, but they did, so that's where we are. But Josh Emmett has won 4 of his last 5. He's the only loss that he's had in that period is to Jeremy Stephens. However, it has been almost a year since he's been in the cage, and he did battle an injury in January, so we don't really know how that's affected him in that regard, but I think that Burgos is going to emerge victorious. Marion Renault, a plus 150 against the minus 175 Raquel Pennington. You know what? There aren't a lot of good I got 5 on it picks here, but Marion Renault would probably be one of them, along with Clay Guida. I think that Raquel Pennington wins this. I think that the years have finally caught up to Marion Renault. She is 42. She'll be 43 the night of this fight. I think that's going to catch up to her, and I think that after she's had a tough time getting into the cage, she was supposed to fight Aldana last September. She lost her last fight against Yana Kunitskaya. She didn't win against Kat Zingano. It's now been 2.5 years since she's gotten a win. So I don't know. I don't know that there's anything that I've seen that has indicated to me that she'll be able to do that. But when you have these top 10, top 15 women's fights, sometimes they can surprise you. On second thought, I don't think I'd go with her for an I got 5 on. I'd probably go with Jim Miller plus 200, Clay Guida plus 210. I think that would be one. And probably the next fight, Tisha Torres at plus 170 against Brianna Van Buren. This one's a good fight. Now, Tisha Torres is a person who I thought would be a top name in the division for a while, but she's lost 4 in a row. Brianna Van Buren is one that if she wins this fight after she made such an impressive debut against Livia Hanata Souza, is one that you'd have to pay attention to in that division. However, I also think this is do or die for Tisha Torres. She knows that, and she's got to win this, and will do what she has to do to win this. The thing is, when we have seen Tisha Torres press the action, like we saw her do against Juliana Lima, and that's really the only time it's happened, in her career, it's the only fight that hasn't been a decision, she has won. Brianna Van Buren is probably going to press. If I were Brianna Van Buren, I wouldn't want to go to the scorecards with Tisha Torres. We know she's got conditioning. It just doesn't always go in her way. But she is a firecracker. She can do a lot. I think that Tisha Torres is, this line's a little bit closer than they gave it. I would have this at even for Torres. Matt Favola is minus 120, while Frank Camacho is even. This is a good fight, too. A lot of evenly matched fights. This one has the potential to it has a potential to be one of those shows that is either really exciting or really boring. And also, I just saw that Matt Favola was pulled from that after his corner man tested positive for COVID-19. So now Camacho has drawn Justin Janes, who is coming up from WXC and has not fought in over a year. I got Camacho winning this. I think that he's going to do this and hang on to his UFC career as a result. Oscar Picoda, a minus 130. Marc-Andre Barriault, a plus 110. I like Oscar Picoda here. I think that he's going to take this one. I don't see this one on the rundown right now, though. But again, BetOnline did submit these to me. So if that fight has been pulled, so be it. Courtney Casey, a -110, as is Jillian Robertson, a -110. Courtney Casey has the ability, as does Jillian Robertson. Robertson won 2 of her last 3, ran into Macy Barber. Courtney Casey, when she gets into the cage, has performed pretty well of late. She beat Angela Hill. She beat Mara Romero Barella. I got to go with Courtney Casey here. Alexander Volkov, a massive +300 underdog against the -400 Curtis Blaydes. Now, I like Curtis Blaydes here. I think the only guy in the world right now that can beat him is Francis Ngannou, the guy who's beaten him twice. And the thing I like and respect about Curtis Blaydes, when he lost to Ngannou, which has now been a year and a half ago, unbelievable to think that, he got right back in there. 4 months later, he beat Justin Willis. Then he got back later that year. He beat Shamil Abdurakhimov. Then he came right back a few months later and beat Dos Santos. And now here we are, and he's facing Alexander Volkov. He said, be damned, I will get my name back in that title picture. And he's done it. He's done it. 29 years old. He's got a long time ahead of him. Volkov beat Greg Hardy. Good for him. He needed to finish Greg Hardy to make any kind of impression on me in that regard. But he got beat by Derek Lewis and took a full year off after, because I think he got hurt. He had some health issues that he was dealing with, and has taken 7 more months off. He's nowhere close to the title picture right now, in my opinion. Not with Ngannou and Blaydes ahead of him, but if he beats Blaydes, he is immediately in the title picture, and I could imagine him fighting Francis Ngannou. I don't think that's going to happen. I see Curtis Blaydes running away with this one. I think Curtis Blaydes is one of the best heavyweight fighters there is, and I think when all is said and done, he will be... I fully believe that when all is said and done, Blaydes may be a top 5 UFC heavyweight of all time. We'll see how it goes. Leave a thumbs up. Join us Saturday. Until next time, we're out.